Hi, Judy. How are you?
Hi, Lorena. I'm good. I'm good. I was just telling them a little while ago that I was hoping that this will run really, really nice and smoothly because I'm out of a location. I'm in a different place from my usual studio.
Okay.
And also, I got stung by wasps uh, uh, just 2 days ago. So I'm still like,
See.
like,
Oh, I see. I did not
I'm sick.
notice before. I see now. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry. Okay.
I'm good now. I'm good. I'm
Okay.
here with you.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Well, I would love to welcome absolutely everyone who is with us to the 2025 Latinx Kidlit Book Festival. I'm excited to be here with you, especially because I love Yuyi Morales' books. So I'm very excited. Please make sure to read our anti-harassment policy in the chat box. Make sure to get to that. And then lastly, don't forget to subscribe to the Latinx Kidlit Book Festival's YouTube channel. And that way you get more educational resources. Pero let's jump in. I'm going to introduce myself, and then Judy, you can introduce yourself, although you might not need any introduction, but fine. And then we'll get into some questions and sit here and just be excited about listening to you.
Thank
My
you.
name is Lorena, and I am an educator. I'm also an author, but of teacher professional development books. So I don't get to write the very cool children's books that you get to write. Um, and I'm a speaker, and I talk to educators all across the country about what it is that we should be doing, shouldn't be doing, and how we could be centered in love and respect, and cultural sustaining and responsive type of teaching. So that's the shortest about me. ¿Y tú, Yuji?
Pues yo soy Yuyi Morales and I love books, especially pictured books. So I write them, I imagine them, I illustrate them, I share them, and I live them. I live pictured books. And so happy to be here today.
Yay. So I've got some questions, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to listen to some of your thoughts. These are questions that, once I heard and understood that I would be talking with you, I was like, oh my goodness, I have so many questions. Just because, I think that your books are really powerful, and I think that they do so much work to open the doors of thinking and the heart and the mind for children, and so that when they're in a group, it's just like, you're opening a big can of worms in a good way. But that, and they can all think about so much of what you create on those pages in so many different directions and ways. And so I love using your books, in particular with children whose minds are not yet, kind of like grown up like ours, where we have a lot of barriers to our imagination, ¿verdad? And we'll be like, no, that can't happen, or that's not what that looks like. They are still ready to imagine, you know? And so,
Yes.
with all of that being said, can you just let us know a little bit about this new book, Rebelde, which I'm sorry, Little Rebels, Little Rebels,
Little Rebels.
Little Rebels.
Yes.
I say Rebelde because I've got a plant in my backyard. Okay, es una viña, Nola, and she
Mhm.
is Rebelde. Okay, that's her name. But your
Yeah.
book, Little Rebels. Can you tell us a little bit about that book?
Yeah, actually, we also have Peques Rebeldes. So we have
Oh, that's right.
also Rebeldes in the book. And this is a book that has taken me so long you know, to create
Mm,
because it has been a journey and it is an exploration. It is an exploration in a territory that is being disputed. It's just like, what does it mean to be a rebel? Like when I started writing it, there were people who were saying like, but when we think of rebels, we think of people who does harm.
mm,
And when I was a child, my mother would have not wanted me to be a little rebel. I know
mm,
that, but in the world that we are today, and when we are just little, even us adults are just little sometimes in front of big problems. Now, I imagine how it is like for children to be these little children and be in front of everything that we see in our world, which cannot be concealed. anything from violence, from not taking care of people, and not taking care of people that feels like they are others. Um, and I made this book because I wanted to explore how it is like to be little, and feel that maybe you don't have a say in what happens around us, but in fact realize that being little can be our strength. It is our strength, and it is our strength especially when we get together.
Oh, yes. I hope that our audience is ready for everything that you're about to share with us. I also know that you have some pages that you are going to read or want to read for us. That would be amazing.
Mhm, mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
Can we do that? Can
Exactly.
we listen?
So I'm going to read to you Little Rebels, and I actually have the book here with me in Español, Peques, Rebeldes. Um, and when you take one of my books, in this case, Little Rebels, you can always take the jacket to see what else is inside, and
Ooh.
then we can start reading it. This is, it starts like this. It says, how shall we begin? Just say, let's start with a question. Have you ever heard of Little Rebels? You might not see us at first, but look closely. So take a look. Peekaboo! Little rebels know there is more than one way of doing anything. Grrr. We come in all colors and forms. Yes, we show up however we feel, and we take all the time we need to find each other. I see us. We like to ask lots of questions, but we aren't looking for answers. We are looking for stories. How do you want to be called? What color do you feel today? Would you like to see a secret? Kek, kek, kek. And here are some other questions. What are your pronouns? Where are you going? And here, you as a reader can always think of your own questions. What would you ask someone you just met? Do you want to hear how little rebels make poetry? Little rebels smile, popcorn cup style. We speak words that shape the world we want to live in. When we need a different world, we invent new palabras. Kek, look, a beautiful wiggly tooth. My secret fang is loose. Be aware, little rebels are dreamers. I dream of transforming into a tadpole, like the legend about the lake. Tonight is a full moon. Shall we go and play with Agüita? Rebellious we are, and we dare to say what we feel. No, yes. Do you want to hold hands? At every step, we trust our intuition first. I changed my mind. Let's go. Kek, kek, kek. Do you want to know what little rebels bring on adventures? Kek, kek. Something to share, something just in case, something for giving thanks. Ready or not, here we come. Whoopsa! Don't worry, Señora Cangreja. Among little rebels, you are safe. Even if we are not friends, we will not hurt you. We create a tender path for everybody. Agüita water calls us all. Do you know what rebellion means to us? We don't race to be the first one or the best. Each one our splendor. Que, tom, tom, tom. Chakata rakata, chakata rakata. When we root for each other just the way we are, we become who we want to be. And I think that's as long as we are going to read this time.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciated that. There were some things I missed when I read it. And so I appreciated how you embedded those sounds. That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you so much for reading.
Thank
So
you.
here is my first question for you. This is a moment. I can use so many words to describe our moment in our country, right? This is a challenging moment, a tough moment, a scary moment, a sad moment. What do you think the role of a writer is in moments like this one?
Yeah, there is this feminist, Rita Segato, she's from Argentina.
Mm,
And she says that the work of the artist or
mhm,
the role of the artist, and in this case, as writers, we are artists, we are creators, um, is to be like an antenna. You know,
mm,
is that how you say it in English?
sí, sí.
Antenna. Mhm.
Mhm,
And so we are these antennas to the world,
mm,
and we are capturing what our antennas can, about what is happening there, and
yeah.
then we bring it to us, and we make it, uh, we transmit it to
Mm,
our readers.
yeah.
I really believe that is exactly what it is. So
Mm,
as a writer, as an illustrator, as a creator of books for the children, I know that I am an antenna, and I am capturing what's around us and trying to bring it to the place where we are going to deliver it to the most precious thing that we have in this world, which are children.
mm,
So from there, we have many tasks. We have the task of bringing it to a place where children are going to relate to it. But also, we have the task of bringing a tender path for all of our children who are going to read this book, not only for on some of them, but for everybody. So I think that, and in that sense, as authors, we need to be very careful, and we have to be tender and bring to our books those things that we are gonna present, we are gonna give children with,
mm,
that are gonna give them a strength, that are gonna let them know that they are uh, cared for, that they matter, that we will do whatever is in our hands to protect them always.
mm.
So I think that, especially us who create books for children, not only we are capturing what the world is not right now, but we are also bringing um, kind of like a search for the tools and for what is that is going to help us live in this world, and not only adapt to this world, but make it change.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for that very thoughtful answer. I'm going to be thinking about that analogy for a while of us being antennas. It makes me think a lot about what am I in tune to, and what harm does it cause when I decide to tune out?
Well,
¿Verdad? What happens
yeah,
when I'm like no, and that is one of the ways that I function in the world, ¿verdad?
yeah.
Um, so when we read your books, I feel like all of them, land is like a
Mhm.
character. Land is always there, and especially in Little Rebels, in Peques Rebeldes, because everything that's happening has to do with what's going on outside, right? The
Mhm.
whole book is
Mhm.
outside, and
Yes.
the outside is a character. So that land is always a
Mhm.
character. Why? And what does land mean to you? Why is it always so important?
Sure. You know, I've been learning how disconnected we had been from anything that is not ourselves,
Yeah.
and to like what I mentioned before, which is the authorize everything else. Uh, and in the case of land, we had been made believe that land is something that is not ourselves,
Yeah.
and when in fact we are the land,
Mm,
and land is us. So it is only just that in my stories, land has to be a character. We will not live if we were not in this land. And I live in Mexico now, and not anywhere, nowhere else has been so clear to me how the care of our territory and the place where we live is as important as taking care of ourselves.
wow.
As we take care of the land, we take care of our bodies. As we let our land be depleted, being taken, hurt, abused, it's
Mm,
as if we are letting our bodies and our existences also being abused and being hurt. So knowing that we are so connected and we are part of this land, we need to take care of it. Otherwise, it will happen what is happening right now, and which we make others just be so other and
yeah.
so not how do you say, like no worth
See,
of
no value.
dignity and care,
Right.
that then
That's
we can do whatever we want to them, right? Then
right.
we
Yep.
can deport them, we
Right.
can
Put them in a
jail
cage.
them, we can
Hmm.
hurt them.
Yep.
Exactly. So, but and that's what happens with land as well. When we
Mm,
see that something that is not ourselves, then we can do whatever we want to it, and we can really, really hurt it.
yeah.
And that's what I think, that land needs to, in ourselves, needs to be brought to us and realize that it is
Mm,
us.
mm. That is great. Thank you for sharing that. One of the things I think about is that, adults read your books too, because when we
Mm,
read them to children, we are reading them, right?
yes.
Whether I'm reading them at home to my little children, or I am reading them in a classroom, or lo que sea, right? But I am also
Hmm.
accessing them, and often we consume as adults children's books as if they are for the kids and that there's no
Hmm.
for us. So what
Hmm.
do you say to us adults? What is there for us to take away?
I think the first, like, yes, so I was hearing something like, we cannot pretend that we are all horizontal. There are different, like us as adults, we have different abilities and powers that children don't have yet, right?
Mm,
And then we as adults can always remember that we have responsibility, and rather than make it all about how we are, whatever, the ones that know and the ones that control, how I think that I want um, adults to feel that they are the caretakers. They are not the ones that handle the situation, but they are the ones that take care of the space. They take care of the space, and where we are reading, when we bring our children close together, we see them in our laps, or we are in front of a classroom, and what we are doing is we are creating that safe space, and where children can exist, can take on the book, what the book offers them, and we will make sure that not harm is made to them. And so
yeah.
our responsibility as adults, I think, is when, yes, the book is also directed to adults.
Yeah.
It's not, children are not less than us. So we can always imagine that the book is for ourselves as well, but also that our role there is to be the guardians of the space where the reading can happen.
Mm, that's great. I have so many more questions, but they're telling me that I only have que 15 minutitos. Ay, ay, ay.
In
So,
minutes.
so I want to ask you a technical question, okay?
Yes.
Or at least as technical as I can get. One of the things that I find powerful about being, I mean, I don't. but you are both an author and illustrator, ¿verdad? How do you do that? Like, how does your brain work? How do you make those decisions about what goes first, what goes second?
Mm.
Is it como que las dos cosas a la misma vez? And then, you know, your books are said to talk to us about culture, about family, about folklore, but I feel like maybe something's missing. What do we not know? What are we missing from what you are creating?
You know, I think that I hope that you are not missing it, and I
Okay.
think that it is healing. I think that the
That's
journey
good.
of a book brings us to healing, and not only when we read it, but like for me, when I'm making a book, I'm always answering questions that I have, and questions for which I have no answer to. And
Mm,
then making this book, making any book allows me to explore and to ask. I'm never gonna be, as us as authors, we are never gonna be the solo answers of any questions. We are tapping again, you know, as an antenna, we are tapping into the wisdom of the people around us, our community, and even our world. And having said that, I will tell you that I can't pretend that I know how to make books, you know. But the truth is that every book has its own journey, and at
yeah.
least for me, it has to be learned again and again and again. And maybe at the beginning, I was always writing my story first, and I had like a set path that I follow. I will. After I wrote it, then I will create thumbnails and sketches. And I still embark on that path because I know that at least in action, it takes me to what I'm going to get. But at the same time, now I know that every book will call for something else. And there will be times in which I'm just like,
See.
not even in my studio making this book, right?
Oh.
I'm somewhere else, and sometimes I am doubting, and sometimes I already make some drawings, but then I go back and I revise the text and change everything. And for every book, the journey is going to be different. I think that what I've learning of this is to
Mm,
trust the journey, to know
mm,
that as long as I keep moving and breathing, and my heart keeps beating, and the book is in me, in my heart, I will be making a book. But the
mm.
journey will be discovered.
Wow. Gracias. That was for me.
Mhm.
Porque I am in the process right now of a book, and you know, my first couple of books fueron como cathartic. They just came out. I had to write them. They were clear. Y este, you know, the purpose is clear, but the method is not. And I have been trying to fight it and wrestle it. And so I appreciate what you just said about journey,
Mm.
about trusting
Yeah.
that process, and
Mhm.
no book is the same, and each one is its own character, its own person, ¿verdad?
Yes.
So with that, what would you say you've learned about yourself
Oh
as
my gosh.
a person, maybe as a mother, as a woman, as a friend, you know, así como escritora, as a writer? The process of writing is so intense, but like I see, what's your
It
personal
is.
journey like as a writer when it comes to all of this?
Well, it's been it's been tough. Like in the you would think, or I will think that because I make my more books, then I know better and I have everything more under control. And what is happening now is that most of the time I feel like I'm in the middle of a revolution, and um,
A
eh,
tornado.
eh, yeah, and I don't know, I do trust that I'm gonna get the best book I can because my heart is on it, but I have no idea what the result is gonna be, and I have no idea how it's gonna translate to my readers, and I'm trusting that readers know how to take what is best for them.
Hmm.
And then at the same time, I will be so careful that I will never put them in a place where, in order to discover what they need or take what they need, that I'm gonna put them in harm. So I'm learning like about myself, like so many things. But one of them that is very important is that um, books and stories have to be made in a community.
Mm.
For so many years, I live in Mexico now, but for all the years, almost 20 years that I live in the United States, my journey was
Mm.
most of the time like this image of the lonely
Mhm.
artist. And
Mhm.
I was lonely for many reasons. One, because of the isolation of, someone who comes from another country. But I always also found that the people that I could join and create
Mm.
together. But here in Mexico, the journey has also taken me to understanding how we make books that are
Mm.
not only dictated from our own memory and our own brain, but that are created because the community is giving you the nutriments that you need, and to imagine what stories are really needed to be captured by our antennas and then brought to our processes. So it's not just an empty book that we put in the shelves of of our house or the
Mhm.
library, but also a book that serves our community. And maybe it's too much to say, oh,
Mm.
my book is going to be of good to the community and everything. Like, maybe that's too much to ask for, but that doesn't mean that we cannot make the effort to engage and to take what the community is giving us and bring it back with our narratives.
I feel like I have to write everything you said down. Me has dado como so much information. Thank you so much. I have one more question, and
Mhm.
it's um it's just, bueno, it's, I'm pulling from something else, but you explained that you've learned English with your son by reading picture books and basically a literacy,
Mhm.
right? Like picture books have
Mhm.
been a tool for more than just stories. When did you realize, and how did you embrace this reality that your stories, right, that your books could actually be a method for telling stories, but also for using voice, which I think
Mhm.
is partly what we need to do in this moment. But like I see, like we have to use
Mhm.
our voices. We're seeing the power of voice. We're seeing the power of silence también.
You are right.
And so your books do that. They offer us a voice, a powerful voice. And so how did you come to that realization?
I like what you're saying, like that, like the books give this opportunity and the power of voice. And one of the things I want to say right now is that for me, it's super important that we take away the voice from the author, and we
Mm,
give it to the readers, to the children.
mm,
So then, at least when I make a book, I want to make an invitation. And my invitation is not only come here to read my book because I just made a fantastic, clever story for you, but it's more like I gave myself permission to use my voice, and I want to join it with you, reader. And
mm,
you, reader, can you tell me your story now? Can
ah,
you tell me how you have learned to be a little rebel? What are those things that bring
mm,
you healing? So as bring these books to the reader, not so that they can admire us and then we put in the pedestal of the authors, but
yes.
rather how we join our voices and how we invite those voices, which are the really, really wise ones, which are those of our readers and our children. And you were asking me about like this journey. For me, it began when I came to the United States, and not knowing the language, not knowing English, I did feel deprived of my voice.
Mm,
And when I saw picture books, even though I couldn't read them well enough at the beginning, I always had the help of the images, and that will make it possible for me to start understanding the stories. And then I realized how powerful that was. And I thought that I love making pictures, and I had the stories inside of me. And I never felt it more than when I was here in the United States, without my family, without my culture and the things that sustain me. So I wanted to bring those stories out. I didn't know how, and the picture book became like this mirror in which I could see myself reflected.
Wow.
And I thought, I can, if this book is a mirror, and I want to offer that to every reader. Whenever you see a picture book or anything that you like, what you are staring at is at yourself, and your possibilities and your passions and your hopes and your abilities. And for me, the picture book was that mirror in which I could see myself and explore not only who I was seeing, but who else I am seeing in there. At this moment, I'm bringing another book to you, and I'm hoping that you, as a reader, are gonna see yourself reflected in it, even if you don't look like the characters in there. But if there is something that you like, no matter what it is, be sure that it is you as well. And if you want to make a book like the books I am making, all you have to do is just be yourself, and the stories and the books will come.
Ay, ay, ay. I have a whole page of my notes here. Yuyi, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your voice with us through your books, and thank you for talking to us right now and explaining all of this and just blessing us. Thank you. And thank you
Thank
to
you.
everyone for attending the Latinx Kidlit Book Festival. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Yes, thank you so much.